Well, folks, I owe the IRS a fortune of money. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you in today's video, all the money I owe the IRS. Essentially, it's no bueno. It's no fun. Full transparency type video. I'm going to show you the P&L of my two biggest stock brokerage accounts this year in 2021. The profit and losses for the public account, which is available for everybody in my private stock group to see every single move I ever make in that account. That account's now at $1.7 million or so. And I'm also going to show you the P&L, which I've never done in the history of my YouTube channels, of my big dog private account, okay? And I'm going to show you exactly what I've profited, lost on each individual stock straight from Fidelity Investments, okay? I'm going to show you that. I'm also going to show you how much money I've made from YouTube this year, and we're going to run through that. Some people have thought in the past I make more money from YouTube videos than I make from stocks, and you're just going to find that's inaccurate, okay? So, and also this was supposed to be a horrible year for me, 2021, right? You know, you would think like, oh man, it must have been a disaster. And yeah, I think this is the most profitable year I've ever had in the market. I think just because Ted Chef and Corsair and I talk about those stocks so much, and those haven't gone up, I think that makes it seem like it's been a horrible year for me. But when you actually look under the details and you actually get to the P&L statements, you're going to say, oh wow, no, this isn't such a bad year. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy a full transparency video like this. IRS is about to take all my dang money. That's all I got to say about that. Oh, by the way, hit the subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, what the heck are you doing? It's absolutely free to do so. All you got to do is hit it, okay? Subscribe. Alrighty, so first off here, this account we're looking at, this is the private, this is my public account, okay? So this is the one that's available for in my private stock group. Everybody can see every single buy order, sell order I ever make, and I even actually disclose even buy positions now in my main private account now too. I just don't advertise that essentially. But yeah, so this is the P&L for that. Not a lot of moves. I don't make a ton of moves in that account, and so we've had $118,000 of gains in this particular account. And like I said, it's about a $1.7 million account right now. The reason I don't make a lot of moves in that particular account is I think because it's public, right? Everybody gets to see every single move. We got several thousand people in the private stock group. So if I make any buy order, sell order in that account, it seems like there's always like a lot of questions. Like, oh, why did you sell that stock? Or what if you would have done this instead? And so I have to be very, very specific about the moves I do make in that account. And they have to be very, very calculated. And I'm not just going to make some like all of a sudden trade or swing trade or something like that in that account. I'm not going to like sell at a position unless it's very, very thought through. So I'm basically held accountable in that particular portfolio. So you don't see me making a ton of moves. Like this is the entire year. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 sells the entire year. Think about that for a moment. In an account that has $1.7 million or so, right? That's pretty crazy. So Wynn Resorts cashed out of that one. $16,000 in short-term gains there. $14,000 in long-term gains with that particular one. By the way, account total $34,528 in short-term gains, $83,000 in long-term gains there, okay? And by the way, we're going to see a flip in the next account where you're going to find, oh, when I'm not held accountable, I'm more likely to do a make some short-term decisions, which I don't think is the healthiest, but it's amazing what accountability can do for you as an investor. Walgreens was just a really small position that was kind of in no man's land in this account. Walgreens has always been like a massive position for the past year in my main private account. So I looked at this and I just thought that was, the money could be better spent other places, especially being that at that time I had over 20,000 shares of Walgreens in my other accounts. So it was kind of like just overkill having it in this account as well, okay? Upwork, definitely took some profits in Upwork, $22,000 in long-term gains. I still like Upwork for the long term. It's just I felt like there's a better place to put the money, and sold out, took some profits and ran in that one. I still hold some Upwork in that account, by the way. Next stock up here is Switch, which was 2,000 shares. I took a very, very small gain of $785 short-term gain on that one. That was one I actually like. I like Switch, actually a company out of Vegas, data center company, and I like them. But at the end of the day, when it came to Switch, it was just I felt like the money could be better placed in other stocks. So I made that move there. Revolve, I think I still own, I want to say like 2,000 shares or so in my public account in regards to Revolve, but there's no doubt I cashed out a lot. Look at this. Wow, cost base is $6,400 and cashed out $31,500. So long-term gains in that one, $25,000 in long-term gains. The problem is every time I see one of these gains, I'm like, well, there goes 5,000 to the IRS or whatever. Like, man. But yeah, Revolve cashed out some, still hold a lot in that account. This stock's been one of my better stocks I've had the last few years. Obviously, Tesla's always going to take the cake over everything, but Revolve, I mean, the gains in that stock have been 500, 600, 700% on most of the shares I bought, if not higher than that. It's been extraordinary. Dropbox, cashed a good amount of Dropbox in my account there, the public account. 3,500 shares I've cashed so far this year. Almost $19,000 in short-term gains, about $14,000 in long-term gains with Dropbox. I like Dropbox. Let me be very clear for the long term. I just was, once again, I was like, well, I could take some profits, deploy some of that money into some of these other stocks I think have more upside potential over the coming years, and so that's what I went ahead and did. Cruisy Doozy, cashed out some Cruisy Doozy. I think this was the remaining Cruisy Doozy. Cruisy was just in no man's land. If you don't know Cirrus Logic, they make the audio chips that go into your iPhone and many other electronic devices. It's what your voice is getting processed through. They make the amps for that, and they make even other chips that go in there nowadays. It's pretty extraordinary, including if you ever feel like a vibration come from your phone. That's not a motor. Back in the day, it used to be like a little motor. Nowadays, Cruise can do that through their amplifier. It's pretty amazing technology. But yeah, cashed out that one, $8,700 gain there. And then Beyond Meat did take a loss in that one of $1,200. Cashed out that one, I think it was early in the year. I just didn't think the innovation at Beyond Meat was fast enough. And I thought, I was going to put that money in Tattooed Chef. And although Tattooed Chef hasn't done it good necessarily, it's done a lot better than Beyond Meat. If you look at where Beyond Meat stock price has gone over the year, and you look where Tattooed Chef, Beyond Meat's just been, obviously a horrible stock. And a lot of it comes back to just they haven't been innovating fast enough at that company for the type of valuation it's having it, okay? So overall, in this particular account, don't worry, the next account gets much, much, much worse in terms of taxes that will need to be paid. $83,000, almost $84,000 in long-term gains there. $34,500 in short-term gains in the public account there, okay? Next one up there, and then we'll get to the YouTube income and all the good stuff, okay? Alrighty, so what you're looking at now, this is, for the first time ever disclosed, my P&L statement for my main private account, what we call Big Dog, okay? So in this account, you're usually going to expect all the numbers to be amplified, right? $462,000 in gains. I think it's very important to look at this right off the bat. $297,000 in short-term gains, $164,000 in long-term gains. Like I said, with this particular account, I'm more likely to make short-term moves because I'm not held accountable, and so that's kind of the thing that frustrates me. And also when the numbers are all bigger, the numbers are going to be bigger, right? So Wynn Resorts, first off here, 1,500 shares made $34,000 plus in long-term gains on that one. Walgreens Boots Alliance, $62,000 plus in short-term gains. By the way, this doesn't even account for, I just realized this doesn't even count for dividends received. And in this Main Dog private account, oh boy, there's a lot of dividends received in this account. Like, for instance, Walgreens was paying me out $10,000 every 3 months in just dividends, right? So that's a whole other bunch of money I got to pay taxes on. I just remembered. Oh my gosh. Okay. But yeah, Walgreens. So Walgreens recently had to cash some shares because I just, there was the devastation in small caps. And although I love Walgreens, I was like, I got to spend some of this money on some of these small caps. So I cashed out a lot. I still hold in this particular account 7,000 WBA shares. I hope to hold those long term. However, if the market tanks for the last few weeks of December, it's possible I could cash out of all those and deploy that money into small cap stocks that I love for the long term, right? Upwork, cashed out that one here, 815 shares, $32,000 long-term gain there. Switch stock, that was an $8,600 short-term gain in Switch stock. Shopify, $41,000. Should have held that one longer, man. I didn't hold that one nearly long enough. It was going up a lot. I thought I could deploy the money in something else that I would like a little better. But gosh, man, Shopify is one of those stocks you usually just hold it and hold it. don't dang sell it, okay? Because the stock's gone up a lot since I sold out. Smile Direct Club cashed a $2,200 profit short term in that one, but I still hold a ton of Smile Direct Club now. I bought the stock back recently, and and it went to $3, $2. So I bought some of the stock back recently. So I actually hold a decent amount of Smile Direct Club in that particular account. Revolve RV LV, $73,000 in gains. Wow, long-term gain in Revolve. Revolve's just been, every once in a while, if you can find those type of game-changing, companies that stock prices are going to be beasts like that, those are the game changers for your portfolios, man. And I can tell you, Tesla and Revolve are definitely two of those stocks that, they just make everything look so minuscule. Even if you have great gains in other stocks in terms of percentage gains, when you have these sorts of stocks that are up 500, 600, 700%, or in Tesla, multi-1,000%, it's just, they just dwarf everything, right? Peloton was a short position I had. I made a $730 profit on Peloton, which I never short stock, so I'll take that. On the flip side, I should have kept that short on for way longer. I got scared. Flat out, I never short stocks, and I got scared, and all of a sudden I was like, I guess I'll just take my profit. Yeah, when you're new to doing anything in the market, I think you're more likely to get panicked out of things and whatnot, and that happened to me with Peloton, and that's why I only made a $730 gain. That gain should have been several $1,000s. But it is what it is. Just because I have a ton of experience going long stocks doesn't mean I'm going to be great at shorting stocks, right? It's two total different mentalities, two total different ways of doing it, right? Palantir was kind of a position I, bought a couple $1,000s with, and it was like in no man's land, so I profited $924. Palantir is actually interesting. I might end up buying it back at some point. We'll see. MSTR MicroStrategy took $35,000 in short-term gains on that. Obviously, that one very correlated with Bitcoin price. Bitcoin was going crazy, so I took profits in that one. And ultimately, I deployed that crypto money into what I wanted to be deployed in, which are two crypto plays I have, which is Voyager stock and VGX. I own over 30,000 VGX coins, and then I own, I don't even know how many Voyager shares, but it's a lot of Voyager shares. And so that's where I like to play in crypto, right? Fobo TV. $3,600 in gains there taken. Facebook took some profits in Facebook in this particular account. Not because I don't believe in Facebook. I think Facebook's easy money for the next 5+ years, right? It's just there's better places for me to put my money in this particular account. So I took $27,800 in short-term gains in Facebook, and another $22,000 in long-term gains in Facebook stock. This undisclosed stock, I took $32,000 in gains. Dropbox took $112,000 in short-term gains in that one. Jeez! Yeah, six-figure one there. Like I said, with Dropbox, I like that one. I just feel like there's better places for my money with the small cap devastation. If it wasn't for the fact that all these small caps have fallen so much, a lot of these stocks I would probably still be holding. I wouldn't have taken profits in something like a Dropbox, right? Even a lot of my WBA shares, like those are two perfect examples of stocks I really like for the coming years. It's just I feel like I have other stocks that are better opportunities for me flat out, okay? Cruisy Doozy, $686 in short-term gains, $2,100 in long-term gains. Coinbase, man, yeah, that one went bad. That one went bad, $35,600. That's why I never buy into an IPO. I try to always wait at least 6 months after a company goes public to buy it. Coinbase, I jumped the gun. I got FOMO, and then I got, panicked out of the stock, sold for a $35,600 loss. It's a price of doing business, as they say. It's a price of doing business. You're going to make some mistakes. You're going to screw up sometimes. In Coinbase, I screwed up there. It is what it is. Beyond Meat, $2,100 in short-term gains there. Amazon, $1,000 in short-term gains. Amazon was like in no man's land. I was like, am I going to build this into a massive position, or am I going to put the money in something else I like better? So overall, $462,000 of tax money I have to pay, and a lot of that's the higher tax bracket money too. That's the unfortunate thing about the big dog count, right? $297,000 in short-term gains. So, that, by the way, if you haven't followed me on Instagram yet, follow me on Instagram, okay? Alrighty, guys. So, and before we get to the YouTube money, I want to just discuss this real quick. This is the one that's waiting in the wings, right? I don't know when I'm going to cash some Tesla. It's possible I could cash some Tesla in January. We'll see. A lot of it's going to depend upon where Tesla stock price is in January. But obviously, whenever the time comes for me to cash Tesla, whether that's a little bit of shares, a lot of shares, or whatever, right? Yeah, it's a lot of tax money I'm going to owe in this one. I mean, right now it's $768,000. And the more Tesla goes up, the more tax liability I have with Tesla and Tesla. So that one, yeah, it's waiting, right? Alrighty, so now I just want to show you kind of my YouTube earnings. Now, the good news is with YouTube income, excuse me, I already paid taxes on this money, okay? So, because I always figure I'm going to make, roughly a certain amount from YouTube. So, I always kind of pay that ahead versus the stocks, which I don't, okay? So, with YouTube, this is from Financial Education 3. I made $128,000 so far this year. So by the end of the year, I'll probably be $140,000, maybe roughly somewhere around there. Really, this channel I didn't do much on in terms of views, posting, things like that. Kind of in the summertime into the fall time, it's come back really strong recently. I started out the year really strong on the channel, and then I've kind of finished the year really strong, but there was kind of this middle part of just like, So yeah, $128,000 in gains on that one, and then I'm sure everybody wants to know the main YouTube channel, right? So main YouTube channel I made $256,000 on so far this year. So that one will probably finish up at maybe $270,000, maybe $280,000, somewhere around there this year for this particular account. This one I think I stopped posting on in the springtime, and so income went down to like nothing. And then I started going hard again, kind of moving into the summertime and moving forward. And so if you add up the YouTube numbers, I'll probably have profited $400,000 or so from YouTube, somewhere around there roughly, right? Versus stocks, I don't know, what was this? What was stocks? 500 and something thousand. So yeah, and by the way, I have a couple other accounts. Those are just the big dog accounts. So I'm sure between, and then if you add up dividends, we're probably at $600,000 plus in overall dividends and stock gains this year, versus around maybe roughly $400,000 in YouTube, the second channel I haven't really been posting on all year. So that one really hasn't made, any substantial amount of money. So yeah, nonetheless, this is supposed to be a horrible year for me, right? In regards to the markets. By the way, download the Hungry Bolt if you haven't already. This is my money losing company. This is what I get to write off against all my stock gains, okay? It's on iOS and Android store now. Hopefully it's going to be something big someday, but right now it's just a money losing pit. The bull is hungry, as they say, okay? But in regards to this year, it was supposed to be, you would think a really bad year, but it's still going to end up being roughly $600,000-ish in gains, right? So, not the worst thing in the world. Obviously, it could have been better. But yeah, it is what it is, right? So, I'm proud of the gains. I'm proud of, everything. I'm always learning in the market. I've been doing this since 2008, 2009. I'm always learning from different things. I'm always trying to experiment different ways. I've tried to take options a little more serious this year. I'm going to take it even more serious next year. Shorting is not I'm not really a biggest fan of shorting stocks, so I don't know if I'm going to go much deeper into that. Maybe puts a little bit, but in terms of actually shorting stocks, I just don't like it. I just feel like short sellers I don't like that bunch. Okay, just put it that way. I don't like that bunch, and so I don't really want to even put myself into that type of category. But yeah, overall a decent year, and I hope you guys enjoyed this and the transparency. As always, much love and have a great day.